was classed as best. He's been gone Tyson since the Deontay Wilder fights. This is a problem. I'm the first one to say, I've told him 20 times about it. These people.
Yeah, so there seems to be an issue between John Fury and Tyson Fury. And obviously, we don't really like to talk about stuff that's happening between family members, but look, they're quite a interesting partnership in British boxing, and so that's why I felt I kind of had to take a look at it. But let's see what more he's saying.
The braid of it, believe it. I watched the Usyk fight.
So he doesn't think that Tyson should continue to fight. He thinks that Tyson Fury is past his best, and I mean, look, you got to value his opinion to a great extent, because obviously he's been there on the journey with Tyson Fury all the way up onto world domination for a time, but you know, this is what he's saying.
Last time, Powell weren't there.
Absolutely.
If I hadn't been in that corner, Usyk could have chinned him in the 10th round.
You're not part of this training camp, are you?
No, not at all.
So he's not part of the so Tyson Fury is fighting Makhmudov, is it April 11th? And Conor Benn and Froch are on the same card. Main card, I think they're co-main card. Obviously, Conor Benn left Matchroom recently, and Eddie Hearn wasn't too happy about that. But then Eddie Hearn signed a UFC heavyweight fighter, Aspinall, on a sort of marketing promotional deal.
He's got 7 or 8 children. What's he going to do if anything happens to him? Money's not that important. You can't measure money against your health.
So he's concerned about Tyson Fury's health. And look, it's always sad to see when, you know, relationships between father and son, and the word that he did use was, destroyed.
What's that done to your relationship with Tyson, if you're honest?
So yeah, he's saying that the relationship's destroyed. Look, it's not great. It's not great. And this, you can see them in earlier days. Clearly significant role as a father generally, but also as he's obviously inputted into Tyson Fury's fighting career. But as I say, these things can happen from time to time. I mean, just take a look at Tyson Fury quickly. So say, talking about a heavyweight champion, for me, he is slightly above the other heavyweights, just under Usyk. That's my opinion. Multiple heavyweight championships. He's from Manchester. His brother's Tommy Fury, cousin Hughie Fury, an orthodox boxer, and he's 37 fights. He's only had 2 losses. Significant figure. And John Fury used to fight himself, but as I say, I didn't even know, he's represented Ireland before as super heavyweight in English national championships, but now he's moving forward. He's been represented in England, and then as you see, his father John Fury, professional boxer and bare knuckle fighter. I should say, comment on John Fury. I know there's a video on the channel that covers it. He's been back and forth with Carl Froch. I don't think that fight's going to happen between them. Now, something that I do want to mention actually is, remember remember the Eubanks. Now, obviously a fight's coming up. Now, look, I actually hope they haven't fallen out. But look, he's saying what he's saying. But some people have speculated, Chris Eubank, sorry. Some people have speculated that the nature of or this type of interview about the falling out and stuff like that is like when Chris Eubank Jr. and Senior, and in the end, actually, if you think about it, Chris Eubank Senior was proven right, wasn't he? Because coming into that second fight against Conor Benn, Chris Eubank, and also obviously the result after, he seemed to have lasted the rounds towards the end, but he was taken to the hospital and etc. afterwards. Chris Eubank was right, like kind of dehydrating yourself, doing all of that wasn't great for yourself. And sometimes maybe it is a good idea to listen to your father. You know, maybe it's a good idea to listen to your father. But also Chris Cena had kind of said, I'm not going to, well, I'm not going to look at that AI thing, but they look, we saw the story. They did have a sort of breakdown in relationship. But despite that, Chris Eubank Senior, and this is the image, that he did turn up. He made a shock appearance. A shock appearance? No. Look, it may well be that he really had decided that he wasn't going to turn up, and maybe the steps he was taking, he was hoping to kind of put his son off fighting. It didn't work. Obviously, Eubank, the junior Eubank, stormed on the head, went on to fight Conor Benn, and Chris Eubank, father, senior, turned up and supported him. There is speculation that in relation to John Fury, he might do the same. I mean, he was at the earlier... sorry, one second.
The only relevance to John Fury, huh?
Yeah, he was also at the earlier press conference. The language is crazy. Anyway, he was at the earlier press conference, or a press conference, and maybe the nature of this type of interview, maybe he will still turn up to the fight in the same way that Chris Eubank Senior turned up to his son's fight in the end. Now, I doubt that John Fury is going to be in the corner of Tyson Fury. I don't think we're going to see that. But no doubt he will. I think he'll be at the fight. Look, I think he'll be at the fight. Look, I mean, look. I think that was the earlier fight. That was the earlier fight. Conor, after the Conor Benn triumph. But look, we'll see what happens. And do you know what it is? Father-son dynamics are interesting. You as a father, you're molding your son, and you're training your son, and as they go on, you're in fact, if you think about it, you kind of training your son to have that sort of independent mind, to make their own decisions, to be able to stand when on their own without you. So in a way, you shouldn't really be surprised when your children get to an age. What's this? KSI there. That was yeah. He's hilarious. I think that was with Tommy Fury. But yeah, you can't be surprised when you grow your children up to a certain age, and then they actually, and then, as I say, I'll get to this point eventually. But yeah, and they actually stand on their own 2 feet and say, "Look, Dad, I'm not going to listen to you," because that's the whole point that you're training them to do. You're training them to be independent. He's obviously, Tyson Fury is a grown, married man. He's making his own decisions, and
there's a message to Big John Fisher.
You're making your own decisions. So what we're seeing here isn't that surprising. And also when you come into business, look, sometimes you probably want your father to be in the sort of father role, and obviously the business interests and those discussions and even the fighting interests are dealt with separately, because as a professional heavyweight boxer, that is your job. So you're having that kind of demarcation between family at home, family in that environment, dad, children, etc. And then you have a demarcation with, I'm at work now, Dad, I'm at work, let me get on with it. I'm at work, let me do what I have to do. Let me make my own decisions. Let me make my own fighting decisions. Make me make my own business decisions. Let me get on with it. And that may be what we're seeing. And the other part of it, obviously, John Fury feels that he has.
I love my son. Think he's past his best.
Yeah, and that is probably the most important thing I've heard in that interview. Loving your children. And then obviously the other part of it is obviously giving the hard advice, and he feels that he shouldn't be fighting. He feels like he shouldn't be fighting. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, look, that's where we are with this one, and it's sad to see. Hopefully he turns up at the fight. Hopefully this might even just be promo. Hopefully it might be promo. Who knows? But in the end, we're just gonna have to see. We're just gonna have to see. But yeah, this is me reporting on the suggestion that there's been a bit of a fallout between John Fury and Tyson Fury. It's impactful in terms of the kind of boxing legacy that's been built here. And do let me have your comments below. Please do hype this video. You know the thing. But yeah, man, that's what's going on. Well, I guess we'll be tuning into that Tyson Fury v Matt Madub fight, Arsenal Matt Madub fight. But yeah, let me have your comments. But for now, please don't forget to make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Big up John Fury, big up Tyson Fury. Hope they sort it out. But for now, I'm done talking.
Around what he thinks are his friends again, but easily led. He's been an hero. Ego. I took over his brain power. I said to him, about 18 months, forget it. You're not what you was, leave it. Then